Welcome back. This is week 5 doubleheader. This is Doc's Fantasy Corner, and this is your host, Doc. We're going to get into a couple things here pretty quickly for you guys. Those of you tuning in, this is the doubleheader, baby. This is what it's about. Trying to make up for some lost time here. You already got the week 4 recap, so there's no need to really kind of cover what happened for week 4 for you guys. That being said, I mean, we have some. Honestly, this is the most waiver wire transactions I've seen this year for the league, and I can kind of see everything. It gives me kind of updates as things happen, which is pretty cool. Categorizes it, which I love. We have some trades, or maybe just a trade. I'm gonna throw it out there, and we'll see if anybody kind of picks up on kind of anything. I think there's only maybe 1 or 2 people that know about the trade, and that's only because I obviously the guy proposed it with, and then one other person just to kind of get their feedback. Obviously, I felt like it was a fair trade, but just to kind of get into some of these waiver wire transactions, and this is obviously for league fear boner came in Wentz, and it's been a doozy. Taking a look at some of these waiver wire transactions, I made a couple moves here that I thought were pretty solid. I swapped out because I was expecting Gronk to be back. So I swapped out AJ Green for Joanna Smith for AJ Green because AJ Green had a couple of good couple of back-to-back weeks. He's getting a lot of targets. I kind of like that. I also snagged James Conner, who has 2 back-to-back, 2 touchdown games, but he's playing San Fran this week, and I just don't trust him enough to be my running back 2 or even a flex option yet at this point, so I'm just going to kind of cuff him and put him to the side. And then I picked up, well, obviously, Gronk's not playing, so I had to pick up a tight end. I didn't feel like going back to Jonnu Smith, so I went the other route. I went with Mike Gesicki. Thought Mike Gesicki is going to be a great option moving forward. I feel like having a backup quarterback playing for Miami, I think, is going to help my case a little bit. He's going to be the first target he sees, nice and easy over the middle. But obviously, I only need him for 1 game, so I think it's a great divisional matchup. I think they're playing the Patriots this week, so he should see the ball a little bit. Obviously, a couple of the ones that that I didn't mention, Mark, put in for Dave Schultz, the tight end for Dallas, and replaced for Barber from Las Vegas. Good move there. Matty P, Team Meaty Balls, picked up Damian Williams. Awesome pickup, especially with, the absence of David Montgomery. You're going to expect him to see the ball a little bit more, especially with, they got a rookie wide receiver, so they're going to want to try to give him the ball a little bit or try to get him involved. Looks like there was 3 claims made on him. I wonder if it lets me know who made the claims. This is really cool. I know you guys can't probably see this, but Meaty Balls, Lemon, so Matty P, Lemon, and Mark all put the waiver claim in for Damian Williams. Matty P ended up being the guy to get him, so great snag there. Hunter Renfrow, Pino picked up Hunter Renfrow for some guy, Mitchell, he's a running back from San Fran, but Hunter Renfrow is a better option for you. Team Murphy picked up Kadarius Toney and replaced for Sterling Shepard, so wide receiver for the Giants. Lemon picks up Perrine, okay pickup. Pino picks up David Knox, or I don't even know if that's his real name. Knox he's a tight end for Buffalo in place of Dallas Goedert. We'll see how that goes for him. Murphy flipped defenses. Out goes the Colts, in goes the Cardinals. Lemon flips Williams, running back for Baltimore, for Gainway from Philly. And then Lemon also flipped his defenses, Saints for the Panthers against the Eagles. Interesting move there. Poli Broncos for the Bengals. So Broncos defense in, Bengals out. Pino Moss, running back for Buffalo, in. Juju Smith-Schuster dropped. Interesting. I wonder if he hasn't even really been doing any production, anything this year. Too busy with the TikToks, I think. Pat dropped Titans D, picks up Patriots. Lemon drops Gainwell, picks up Collins for Seattle with Chris Carson out. That's a good move. I like that. So those are the waiver wires. Just to kind of get into the one trade that I mentioned, I thought it was pretty even. Obviously, I took 2 quarterbacks in the draft. Obviously, Kyler Murray is my starter, and Aaron Rodgers I'm going to need a QB at some point anyways. Aaron Rodgers is a great backup, but he's, I think, too valuable to kind of keep him tucked away on my bench. So I offered him, Aaron Rodgers and Chris Godwin. So I would be giving rid of Godwin and Rodgers, and I'd be sending them to Jimmy Gavigan, Tim T. Law's Luscious Mane, in exchange for Joe Burrow and Justin Jefferson. So it would basically be Rodgers for Burrow and Godwin for Jefferson. Obviously, I think Jefferson is a better player than Godwin, but I think, with the quarterback situation, not that Burrow is a bad starting quarterback, but it kind of improves him in that category at least. So, we'll see what happens. Rodgers and Godwin for Burrow and Justin Jefferson. So that's the trade on the table. We got a couple of name changes here as well. So we got, Lemon changes his name back to Suck on This Chubb. Mark changed his name to Chase, You Are the Man. And Matty P, Team Meaty Balls, changes his name to Higberry Sawback. And again, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, you can go to the league page and kind of see what I'm talking about, because unless you see it written down, you're not going to know what that even means. Not wearing an Eagles hat, didn't wear one last episode either. I went with the Arizona Coyotes. They're bringing back the retros. Thought it was a good time. Plus, Eagles have been losing when I'm wearing this hat, so couldn't wear that hat. But it is right here on the wall. But let's get into some matchups. That's why we get here, is for the matchups. We all want to wait, see what's going on, see how the league's doing. I'm starting it off hot. T-Law's Luscious Mane versus Team Sean Murphy. So, excluding the trade because that has not been accepted yet. So we have to assume that the players that are playing are the ones that are actually playing. So, just taking a look at that matchup. No, all players. Yes. Sorry, guys. So just taking a look at the matchups. I mean, I have it written down. But Joe Burrow, basically, for T-Law's Luscious Mane, we're going down the list. Joe Burrow, DeAndre Swift, Zeke Elliott, Robert Woods, who had, I think, like 26 points. We'll get into that when I can kind of bring up the matchups here. Stephon Diggs is always a great player, always a great option. And then, of course, you have to also think about T.J. Hawkinson and Justin Jefferson, two threats that they have, and Jim has Justin Jefferson in his flex, so it's probably the best flex option in that you can have here. And I stand corrected. Robert Woods had 27 points, so good outing for Robert Woods, 150 yards for 12 receptions. So just looking at that, and then looking at Sean's team. Murph, it's a tough break with Russell Wilson. He might, he's probably not gonna be out long, but he might miss like a week or two. But you're gonna be without him, and it was cut short. So that's the worst part. Is he didn't even finish the game for you. So 10 points for Russell Wilson kind of puts you at an awkward disadvantage there to start. Saquon Barkley, obviously, you gotta have faith that he's gonna have a great game for you. Going back to, just to kind of go back to what Russell Wilson, Murphy, if you do tune in, I have Aaron Rodgers available. I'll give him to you for a discount. Just kind of hit me up. You're in a spot with Russell Wilson, so you don't have to overpay for a quarterback, but I'm sure you would like to have a decent quarterback, but not a big fan of your bench, but we'd kind of, I'm sure we would work something out. I would throw in something extra or whatever, but hit me up if that's an issue for you, is the quarterback. But just going down the list for you, Murph. I mean, you get Saquon, you got to have a good week there. James Robinson, you have to hope he bounces back and has another great week too. He had 20 points last week, but he started out the year rough. 20 points, his best week of the year. So you got to hope that he does that again. Definitely need to keep rolling with that. Devontae Adams needs a bounce back week. He had 7 points last week for you. Not great. Scary Terry, silently one of the best wide receivers in the league, especially fantasy wise. He's just kind of a reception machine. He's getting looks like only four receptions, 11 and 6. So I mean, the guy's just getting yards per catch. They're insane. 15 and a half, 20 and a half. So I mean, he's just killing it. So just looking at that. Plus, Pitts has been okay. We'd like to see a little bit more out of him. OBJ, it's kind of boom or bust at this point. You got to hope he's the wide receiver one there, but it looks like Jarvis Landry kind of just has that in the bag, so to speak. But regardless, just based on the one player that's already played, gives him an advantage. Robert Woods, 27 points. That's kind of like borderline going off, especially for a wide receiver. It's tough. Murphy, you're 3-1, and Jim's 1-3. So basically, this is this is kind of going to end the hot streak for Murphy. I think he's won a couple of games. He's a couple of weeks. He's having a good streak going, but I'm going to go and say that Jimmy G is going to win this. T. Law's Luscious Mane is going to win this. The spread, they have it closer to like 16. I'm going to keep it closer. It's going to be about 8.5. So not much different, about 8.5 points. Going on to clarify, T. Law's Luscious Mane versus Team Sean Murphy, 8.5 points. Get some light on in here for you guys, and I'll cut that out. But all right. So this next matchup, this should be my game of the week, guys. It's not, but it really should be, just for the sole fact that I think this could be a flip of the coin, essentially, for these two guys. And both teams are 1-3. This is going to really show us which team really deserves to be at the bottom going into week 6. I have an idea here looking at the matchups. Eckler, I hardly know her, versus Team Franny Fantasy. Just looking at this matchup, this should be the game of the week. It should be. They're both 1-3. Peno has great. I wouldn't say great, but he has Eckler and Taylor. Two really good running backs. Eckler's pretty great. Both great. It's a quarterback matchup. Patrick Mahomes versus Herbert. Eckler's great. Jonathan Taylor's great. Lockett is pretty good, but he only got 10 points. He's already played, which kind of like limited and kind of changed my decision a little bit. But Darrell Henderson, 16 points. But Darrell Henderson in the flex getting 16 points is huge, and that's a big makeup call for the 10 points. So can't be upset there. And like I said, going down Team Franny Fantasy, you got Patrick Mahomes, amazing. You're playing your two running backs are Miles Sanders. And the guy, the best game he's had this year was the first game where he got 17 points. So he's not getting the touches we would like to see, especially as an Eagles fan. He's not getting the touches. Running back 2 free is Devin Singletary. So your running backs are actually terrible. They're fucking awful. The worst running back core in the league. I said it in the last episode, literally, that I just recorded. DeAndre Hopkins even is a great talent, but like I said, he was streaky for me. 26 points, 15, 5, 10. Like he just I don't know if it's because Kyler's just feeling everybody out. He's having great time. I have no idea what it is, but DeAndre's not playing well. Devin Singletary, Miles Sanders are not playing well. Amari Cooper had an amazing first week, and then he had 5 points, 15 points. So I have no idea what's going on there. There's just no consistency with Franny's team. There's no consistency. Noah Fant is having, I think, is his most consistent player. Noah Fant had 12, 13, 3, and then 16. So he had one bad week out of the 4, but you're not going to fault him for that. Could have been a targets thing. Devontae Smith, great pickup for you. Great, flex option because he's kind of boomer bust this year. 19, 3, 5. 19. So he's kind of been boomer bust. But because of that, and because of solely for the fact that I just think, Franny, you don't have a run game, bro. Miles Sanders, Devin Singletary, they're not getting the touches that you need to be competitive in this league. And if you think that you can get by with one of these guys, I would honestly flip DeAndre Hopkins and Miles Sanders, and I would send them somewhere for a running back. That won't be me. I'm not taking DeAndre Hopkins, but I'm just saying that's what I would do. I would try to get one of the best running backs in the league and just try to flip it. Your team's gonna be lopsided, but at least you're not gonna be stuck with Devin Singletary and Miles Sanders, who's not getting the ball. But because of that, like I said, this should be my game of the week. It's not. 5.5 points. Eckler, I hardly know her. Pinto, you're moving into the 2 and 3 spot. Franny's going to be 1 and 4 after this week. You didn't see that. Next matchup, Suck on My Chubb versus Brady's 8th ring. This was interesting, guys. I mean, looking at this matchup especially has a lot of implications in the fact that this is gonna really shake up the league. This can either a couple of things can happen. Either Lemon can win, and he goes 4-1, and he separates himself from the better half of the league, and he shows kind of, hey, this is a good team, or Pat breaks his socks off here and goes 3-2, and update: Seahawks bracing for Russell Wilson to miss at least a month with a finger injury. So Murphy, Aaron Rodgers is available. That was a live update, guys. Live update per ESPN. But yeah, because of that, and solely for the fact that I need Lemon to lose, I want to keep the gap. If people are pulling away, Matty P's the one team that's pulled away from everybody else. I need everybody to kind of be on the same page. If Lemon's already running away with it, then people are going to be chasing wild card spots already. So I need to kind of just cheer for Pat here this week. Kind of the lesser of two evils. But Pat's already had Matt Stafford play, so 17 points are already added to Pat's prediction here. Now, this is Team Sleeper's game of the week. Team Sleeper has Pat only winning by less than a point. Literally less than a point. 0.63 points is what you would be winning by, Pat, according to Sleeper. But I actually have this a little higher. Solely for the fact I think that Lemon is starting Jamal Williams, who's been a little inconsistent this year, 25, 6, 14, 6. You don't really know what you're getting with him. So I'd say at most he's a good flex option, but he has him as his running back too. Obviously he has to do that because David Montgomery is out for foreseeable future. Nick Chubb, great player. Having a couple bad weeks, 8 and 11. So Lemon needs to kind of make sure you have to text him and make sure. But you just have to hope, honestly, that he has a good week for you here. Deebo Samuel having the best year, I think, of any wide receiver in fantasy. He did have last week only 10 points as opposed to 30, but 30, 16, 10, and 35 respectively. So he's having a great year. David Moore also having a great year. Who would have thought? Or DJ Moore. Who would have thought with Sam Darnold that he'd be kind of running things in Carolina. I mean, he's kind of turning into the guy for them. Travis Kelce, he needs to have a great week, but they're playing Buffalo. Who knows what that's going to entail. Keenan Allen's your flex option, which is a great flex option. Mike Williams, I think, has been getting a little bit more targets or more options from Herbert, but it's a great team, Lemon. Looking at Pat's, you got Matt Stafford already with 17 points on the opposite side. Aaron Jones, who's playing Cincinnati. I don't think Cincinnati's going to be able to keep up with the Packers' offense, so that's going to be interesting. I wonder if that's why the Bengals' defense was dropped, but you guys can ask that person yourself. Josh Jacobs, Pat, that's my one concern with your team is Josh Jacobs is your running back too. This guy, he could be a really good running back. He could be. He got 2 touchdowns week 1. He could be a really good running back, but best ability is availability, and he hasn't he missed 2 weeks and then he got 10 points. So not really sure what's happening with Josh Jacobs, but you got to hope that he figures it out. Tyreek Hill, he's probably one of the best fantasy players in general. He's predicted to get 20 points this week after having 37 points, 5, 8, and 47. So he looks like he's been really boom or bust, but those are probably the weeks that Pat won. Mike Evans, he's been a great player this year as well. Just looking at these matchups, I actually have it a little just based on, and it's literally solely based on the matchups. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be throwing the ball against Buffalo a lot. I think Aaron Jones is going to be getting the ball a lot in Cincinnati. I think he's going to be pounding the ball. Mike Evans is going to be playing Miami. That should be a toss-up game. Brady's used to playing in Miami. He's used to playing in that weather, and that can get. And it's not going to be a change for him. He doesn't have to go far. Tom Brady's going to be well rested. He's going to go into that stadium and he's going to whoop Miami's ass. Mike Evans is going to have a couple touchdowns. Mark Andrews is playing Indy. I think Lamar is going to try to figure it out with Mark Andrews. This week, he's still getting about 10 points average. And Adam Thielen, obviously, playing a divisional game, I think he's going to have a great week as well. So because of those matchups, Lemon, because of those matchups, you're losing by 7.5 points. The spread, Brady's 8th ring by 7.5 points. Next matchup, P-Word Destroyers 69-420 versus Team Dinkelberg. And guys, this has been a doozy of a fantasy year for me. Started out hot 2 weeks, talked a little smack. Now I'm back to the drawing board. I'm 2-2. But I still like my team. I still think my team has potential to be a good team. But I really need my team at full strength here. The bench is pretty good. I'm sitting Joe Mixon this week against Green Bay. He's listed as questionable anyways, and just because of that reason, I really liked Leonard Fournette playing Miami more this week. So that's my move. So I'm going Kyler Murray. I'm going Dalvin Cook, Fournette playing Miami, Godwin, AJ Brown, and guess what? Mike Gesicki. And then guess what? I decided to put Jacoby Myers in my flex. I had James Conner in originally at running back 2. I took out Mixon, put in James Conner because he had 2 back-to-back touchdowns week, but he's playing San Fran. Don't know what that's going to entail. So I'm flipping. I'm doing Fournette in my running back 2 slot, and then and my flex, I'm using Jacoby Myers. He's playing, he's playing Houston this week, so they are fucking terrible. They are awful. So he's playing Houston. So he's had 2 back-to-back really good weeks with a couple looks. Getting a lot of targets, 14 targets, 12 targets, 9 targets. So they're throwing the ball at him. Guys catching 9 or 8 balls a game. He's my flex option. I'm going to, and then looking at Team Dinkelberg, he's got Brady playing Miami. So like I said, that could go either way, but he's going to be well rested. He's going to go in there. He's going to kill it, and Miami's going to lose because they're playing with a backup quarterback. So that's what it comes down to. Kamara, obviously versus the Washington defense. I love Alvin Kamara, but something about the Washington football team defense is a little scary. They're really good up front, and you just got to hope that they kind of have an answer for that front seven. But like I said, just kind of looking at it, Paulie, just looking at it. You got Najee Harris playing Denver, so that could be good. I think he's going to start picking up as we go on too, because Big Ben just doesn't look like the player that he was. It doesn't look good at all. He's the worst quarterback in the NFL outside of the rookies maybe, and man, they're going to start handing this guy the ball. He's going to start being a bell cow. You're looking at this he's getting 19 points, 28 points, 21 points. This is what I saw. I was hoping he would fall to me in the second round. Didn't happen. Paulie snagged him, just kind of how it worked out. Mike Williams is, like I said, having the year of his life. He's 22 points, 22 points, 33 points, and then 2 points last week. So I really gotta hope he has another one of those 2-point weeks. Really hope, Paulie. Cooper Kupp, got you 16 points already. So you started out 16, and then Matt Gray got you another 8 points. So you're at 27 or 24.2 points versus my 7. I already had the Rams play, and the Rams defense basically cancels out your kicker. So 7 and 8. So you're basically you have a 17-point lead on me. Is how I'm looking at it. But just kind of looking at this, I really like my team more than yours, Paulie, and I'll tell you why. My defense only played. You had a wide receiver, and I can easily get one of my receivers to have 16 points. If it's not going to be AJ Brown, if it's not going to be Godwin, it's going to be Jacoby Myers. That is going to be canceled out. I'm not worried about that. But that was your wide receiver 2. So now you're looking at Antonio Gibson has to have a stellar game, and he's playing New Orleans. So that's, just looking at the flex options alone, I really like mine better, and I'm going to give myself the win 4.5 points. This is the game of the week. You guys wanted visuals? That's the game of the week. Also, Maddie P, this is your wedding week. You're getting married tomorrow, so wanted to give you and Sydney a quick shout out. I have known you guys since known you since college, Maddie P, and you've always been a great guy and a good friend. So I'm always happy to play fantasy football with you. And one of these days we need to actually have a live draft so we can actually all get together. But just getting into the matchup, the game of the week. I mean, this is obviously what I look forward to getting into. Trying to guess what matchups I like more. This game has so many implications because the fact that Mark is sitting at a humble 1-3, while Maddie P's sitting at 4-0. So Maddie P's undefeated, and Mark had one player play, and Maddie P had 0 play yet. Mark had DK Metcalf with 26 points, so we're going to round it up. We're going to say it's about 30. I mean, it's 26 points, but that's borderline going off. That's DK Metcalf went off. He had 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. So just looking at that, looks like Christian McCaffrey's doubtful and George Kittle's doubtful. So because of that, you're gonna Maddie P's team without those 2 players is not looking great. But if they do play, I mean, what if they do? But that's not why we're here. I just really think that Maddie P's team is very good, and I do like Mark's team too. But I don't know. Maddie P's 4-0, so I don't want to just put the ball against him, but he's 4-0, and sometimes teams have to lose. And Maddie P, I think you're losing this week. It's my game of the week, so I don't have a crazy outlandish spread. I have you only losing by 3.5 points, which is still likely because you only need either McCaffrey or Kittle to be. You only need one of those players, and then this game is a lot closer than it needs to be. I think you're gonna end up putting Kareem Hunt in your your running back spot, and you're probably gonna put. Calvin Ridley's out. That's a bad look for you. But you're probably going to put Brandon Cooks he's not a tight end. You're going to need a tight end. So you're going to have to pick somebody up, and Raheem Mostert's in your IR. So not a good look, especially if one of those players misses time for whatever reason. But I like Mark's team this week. Mark, for the first time this year, you have an opportunity to take down, it's the second time actually. I mean, you took me down when I was undefeated. Then you brought me to 3-1, and then 2-1, and then I lost to Pino. So that was, now I'm 2-2. So you're just your team. The record doesn't show it, but you're beating good teams. So let that show. But that's basically it, guys. Game of the week. Maddie P getting married tomorrow. Congratulations. I'll see you at the wedding. Thank you for the invite. And that's it for now, guys. This was the doubleheader. I hope everybody has a safe evening. And I'll catch you on the flip side.
I walk the streets, same one since day one. I never give up, and put the record on repeat. I thrive on beats, and funk is psychedelia.